मुझे लगा था वो जब वो टकाको के साथ जाती है फॉर दैट हाइकिंग,
हाइकिंग मुझे लगा था वहीं से जाएगी, वो वहीं से पहुंच जाएगी।
स्टेशन पे गया but she returned home.
Back.
She came back उसके बाद भागी।
So
Exactly.
when they returned na from the hike, I thought that Satoru would when the second time she left, I thought Satoru would confront her the way he confronted Hideaki. Like, this is not done, dude. You can't do this.
I
Right.
I
know.
wish she had.
This
I
part.
honestly wish
Yeah,
she
this
had.
part.
Like, I agree with
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
The second
I
one was a
exactly
bit
thought
like
that.
off.
That was
It was
needed.
just
Like, she is
and then they
going
went
To be
on.
and
honest,
Satoru is again letting her go. Huh? Take your time, then come back. No, why, bro? Hello, haven't you suffered enough already?
But that's
And
the
I
case.
don't
I
know
think
why,
they
but
wanted to show
Satoru
that
was
when
very
Takako,
downplayed. I mean, like, he had suffered so much throughout the book, his past, his present, like in his future, we go to see. But then he was very downplayed character, underdog kind of a character in the book. He was not highlighted much. He deserved more than he was portrayed for.
He had his moments of like confrontation with Hideaki and supporting
But not
Takako
with
for
Momoko.
her.
See, his connection with Momoko was more strong, was more like first hand. But he did not confront her. So that was like a bit odd for me. Okay, you are going and
Yeah, so
confronting like Takako's boyfriend, but you're not confronting your own wife. You're not asking about it. You're not
if I can
communicating.
add a little bit here. So this is like,
That's
sorry.
how it is, right? Like when we are telling others, we can do a lot of shit in our lives, but when it comes to ourselves, our own
we
personal
cannot
shit,
Exactly.
Then
stand
we
for
can
ourselves,
Yeah, this is what I
we
was
stand
going to
for
say.
others. So I find
yeah,
that
but
the
kind
bond
of
which they showed was that way. Takako standing for Sataru, and while Sataru confronted her boyfriend. किसी का phone.
Okay, Purnima, continue.
Yeah, so I think that was that bond they were trying to show, that when Takako was not standing up for her own self, her uncle standed up. But when her uncle needed it, she was agitated that how can Momoko run away again? Why? How can she do this to her uncle? So that I think what the author was trying to show by that part, by showing that he was not standing up for himself.
like
But there was
return
no
of
proper
favor kind of thing.
justification for the same. The justification, if it had been there, it would have made the point more clear. Though we understood it, but it was not justified as in. That
In the
was what
story,
See,
odd.
what I felt was that the runaway thing was a very selfish thing to do. The least she could have done was at least tell Satoru the reason of why she left. I think he at least deserved to know that in the first place.
Yeah. And then
Agree,
Satoru is
agree,
the one
agree.
running behind her. First, he was the one who went
And
behind
that
her.
is so wrong in one sense. I mean, like, pehle bhi he was the one who did it, and now also he's the one.
Technically, he was waiting for Momoko in the first place. When she came in for the first
But I'm
time,
trying to be
again
so
he was the
sweet,
one running behind her.
taking
It
hand.
was never Momoko who did anything or gave anything to the relationship. Yes, Ramadas has his hand up for a long time. We'll
The
let
only
him speak.
person here right now.
Yeah, I was trying to say, like, we want so many things to do, but sometimes we don't do it, and we would force other people who are very close to us around us, to do the same thing that we couldn't do, and we make them do it, and I don't know, see ourselves in them, and we are happy and content because they did it for them, and we are happy. We can't do it, and we want the other people to do it for themselves so that we can be happy. And this is like, I have seen this in real life. I have seen this in real life.
Agree.
I think that's why, like, Uncle Satoru was there to confront Hideaki for Takako, but he couldn't do it, for himself. I think people, like, we face this at some point in our life, I think.
I agree.
That's
We
true.
cannot stand
That's
up for
true.
ourselves.
Sometimes we don't have the courage to stand for ourselves, but when something same happens to someone we love so much, we obviously take a stand, or we get more, we take it more personally than it when it's happening to us. We just let
Definitely.
हाँ चलता है होता है when it's with us. this thing is very prominent in female friendships if you see. Like अगर
Yeah.
अगर अपना अपना बंदा चाहे कैसा भी हो चलेगा, will still like be together. पर अगर अगर बेस्ट फ्रेंड का कुछ होता है तो मुंह तोड़ देंगे, अभी छोड़ के
Right.
बैठ done. That thing is true. Like I do
Yeah.
understand.
The fourth character is Tomo. Now, I don't know if you guys remember her, but she was the one working in the cafe. She was a friend of Takako.
But she was
She was
very मतलब,
the
shown for a very short period and nothing
yeah,
very.
she was in the first part
Yes.
of the book,
She did
but
not
I
play
found
the
Really,
that.
ऐसे
main
ही चला गई.
character. हाँ वो आई और चली गई, उसका कुछ था ही नहीं बेसिकली ऐसे
But
था.
still,
Exactly.
at the only time, maybe she was really a sweet
Character than
character.
more, I'll say.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So, I
There
think
for the
Sabu
fun bit.
also was not a prominent character for you guys.
No, he was. मतलब, he was that person who would just come in and make you laugh and go back. Gone,
Hmm,
vanished.
agree.
Yeah, 4,
Same
5,
goes
and
for
6 had no
Katana, I
role
think.
beyond the first part, right? I mean, they
Just
were
being a
just
side character to the
Yeah.
book.
kind of they're the side
Yeah,
characters who
and I think we've
Exactly.
talked enough about Hiraki. You guys have cursed him out enough for today.
Oh yeah.
Let's not
Let's not
discuss him
talk about
anymore.
let's not talk about Hidaki anymore.
Okay, so thoughts about the reason that Momoko gave for leaving Satoru. That too to Takako. What do you guys think? Is it justified the reason that she gave? Is it enough for somebody for you to let somebody in your life again after they've gone for like 5 years or more?
Like I have a 80-20 relationship with the whole thing because to some part I understand the feeling she was going through, but putting somebody in that situation where they are just left hanging like that, ki, like you just went away and you don't like they don't know if you're coming back, if you're not coming back, what they should do, because you just left them hanging because they don't know what happened, they don't know why you left or if you are actually safe, fine, they don't know anything. It's a very tough situation to be in from like Sataru's point of view.
Yeah, actually, Momoko gave Satoru 5 years just to create, his own stories where he went wrong.
It
Yes,
is
He
so
agree.
gave
hurting to
five.
even know that he went against his family to marry this girl, and she left
Yeah,
him all of a sudden out of blue. Despite like facing such a tough situation together, instead of standing up together, मतलब एक दूसरे के लिए खड़े होने के लिए या एक दूसरे के साथ खड़े होने के बदले she ran off. No, no, no. There is this one part where she's, I think, talking about the fact that they didn't really talk about it. That's what
Satoru
I'm saying. They did not even communicate. They did not stood up for each other because they both knew that what is happening and both are suffering, but still they did not, like
right.
communicate or stood up
Communication
for each
is
other.
needed.
Like I'll be your support. Don't worry, I'm there for you. Nothing was like that. It's like, if
I
suddenly you have just let her talk and just let it out and just cry it out, and then she could have just healed herself and healed him too in some way. But
yeah, instead of going at the end of the book where their kids were, the child was buried, if they had gone in the beginning or in the middle or somewhere where the thing happened, it would have been sorted. ये 5 साल का जो leap होता है वो होता ही नहीं. It's
grief,
like that.
they didn't process the grief properly, basically.
हाँ. And
That
I
was
Yeah,
think the
yeah,
author did do a
that
good
was what I
job
was
on.
saying.
In some ways, the author did. It was a bit of a contradictory plot line for me in that respect because Satoru was shown being so communicative with his niece, but I didn't
Yeah,
understand why he could not pull off the same part of his personality with his wife. So that seemed
right.
like a little bit of a hitch in the plot line, actually.
I think it was
I
both
think there
I think the grief.
uh,
Some things are a little more difficult to talk about when it's hurting so deep inside that you don't know how to express that in words. Like you know how you're feeling, but if you want
can't
to,
No,
express it.
it's not just about this part only about the grief. इसके पहले भी मतलब I don't think they had so much of conversation because she was saying to the Takako के that मैं जब मिलती थी when we were together with the family I never used to speak, I used to sit in the corner. So she never used to try, or even if she was trying, nobody appreciated and he did not support her. I don't know what exactly, but then this thing was that they did not communicate even earlier. उसको उसका past भी नहीं पता था, and how did she end up in being in Paris alone and all that. I don't think even that was revealed to him.
It
Both
was both their fault at
things.
one point, I think. Both of them were at fault,
Yeah.
not communicating properly.
Basically, the whole book has this only problem is the communication problem. They did not communicate, and it was entirely based on that.
And Chaitanya
Chaitanya
has never
never
said
I
something.
Yeah, I think what happened was that it was not like Satoru didn't communicate. I think Momoko didn't give him the opportunity to help her. That I think that's what happened
That
because
was when she ran away. But before that,
she told
before that.
no, like I'm saying what I'm saying is that when she tells Takako at the trip that she knew that if she let Satoru come across the fact of what she was going through, Satoru would have helped her very easily and very willingly, but she didn't give him the opportunity. So I think miscommunication is not the issue. The issue is that Satoru didn't know that Momoko was feeling this way this strongly.
But then Momoko came back, and Bhavik also, he was not the one who talked to Momoko when she came back. He told Takako to go and talk to her. Why couldn't he talk when she came back? That was the main reason. That was the main problem they had.
See, there is this very big part where, like, people, we always try to put these people, the people who have trauma, or like people who have like broken past, we tend to put them in our regular life context. I don't think that usually their psychology works in that way. Like, we are saying that why would not someone communicate, but I feel like the book I don't remember the character's name, but the girl herself, like, multiple times the male protagonist was willing to help her out, but she was not just ready. She was not psychologically there to accept someone's helping hand. So probably grief works differently for different people, and like, some people just don't behave the way they should. Like, there's no spectrum of right and wrong when they are dealing with things like this.
And somewhere I think this was the case that Satoru didn't confront Momoko upfront when she returned for this particular reason that he knew that he wouldn't be able to handle the depth of what Momoko might say that of why she left. I think that's why he asked Takako to do this for him because he knew somewhere along the lines that he was a soft person and he would break down very easily if the truth was too strong for him to handle.
Hmm.
Right. Okay. Anybody else?
If I
Any
may
other
add,
thing?
yeah,
Yeah,
like
please.
we have different perspectives of people we
Sorry,
have in our life,
I
and
cut you off.
yeah,
Sorry. Sonali ma'am, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so
yeah,
much,
thank you.
Emily.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much. I really enjoyed this. If anybody wants to like connect with me separately, Kavi has my number. If anybody wants any more information about the Empress of Indraprastha or anything. And I have simply loved having this conversation with you all. It's so
Thank you,
interesting because
ma'am.
I was like, okay, should I join? Should I not join? Because it seems like I'm the only one who didn't like the book. But then I see, no, I
No,
really didn't want to be a party pooper. Okay, so that's good. Yeah.
thank you so
So
much for joining.
hopefully I will meet you all again sometime.
Yeah,
Definitely, we look
thank you.
forward to that.
Good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Ramadas, back to you.
Yeah, so I was saying like we have different perspective of the like same person. I might have a different perspective about you. Somebody might have different version of you, and even in the relationship, like it doesn't have to be like I the way I see myself is not the same way my partner would be seeing me. It's different,
Hmm.
and the way I deal with things might be different from how she's dealing, how like the other person is dealing. And same way, we might be able to communicate with our friends and family in a different way. And when it comes to a partner, it can be different. And if the relationship was not well communicated, it can be hard when it comes to like this can be their first thing, first grief they are actually going like dealing with, and they don't know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why.
Okay. So, as I think you guys, it's a 50-50 on what you guys think. That is
Yep.
justified, it's not justified. It's a two-way plot. You need to work both the ways, right? Okay. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Question is. So, okay, Up the Hill. This was a very favorite segment of in the book of mine. So, Up the Hill was the book that Wada gave to Takako, if you guys remember. And the story was actually really impactful. Do you guys remember it? I want to give me a bit of a background to it. Up the Hill. Okay, I'll give you a background. You guys remember the book? It was a book that Wada read, and it was a very heart-wrenching love story. What do you guys think about the book and how
I
it
think
healed?
Up the Hill was kind of the uh, shadow outline for the other character, the Wada character. I think his story was narrated through Up the Hill somewhere.
Yeah,
So
I think.
uh, yeah, yeah.
Bolo, 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 bolo. No.
Nahi, so I thought that the details of the story could have been a little less emphasized. Like it should have been along the lines when we get to know about what happened with Vada.
Hmm.
So like a lot of information about the story was dumped in one go, rather than having it part by part revelation with Vada story.
Yeah. And I think a lot of Wada's personality was made by this book. It impacted a lot, and half of the thing that we got to know about Wada was from this book. Even Takako mostly knew about Wada through this. But I really wanted that
Mm,
plot to develop a little more because I liked Wada, but it was
yeah,
left done.
if I can add something like uh it I don't think it has to be like that, like this is how Wada was, or like what he was based on that one. Like we have things that we cherish when we are in love. We
Yeah,
keep listening to the same song, we read the same thing. Maybe this was his thing that he was keeping to himself. Like this was his thing that he had for his love. Like
yeah,
he kept reading this book. Like people have movies. Like whenever they watch movie or whenever they are missing the part, they would be watching this movie and remembering them, listening to the songs that they used to listen together. Maybe Wada like represented his love through this book,
yeah.
and it was
I
in
agree.
pain because maybe somehow he knew deep inside that it's not going to work out.
And
Definitely, I
That's why.
agree.
maybe it was this that he wasn't ready to move on from the failure of that relationship. That's why he kept holding on
Yeah,
to the memories of whatever it is there I want to cherish as a.
yeah, exactly.